My boyfriend's social media habits are making me question our relationship and my own self-worth. Social media has become a constant source of stress and insecurity in my life, especially when it comes to my boyfriend's online behavior. I'm 25 years old and he's 26. We've been together for 2 years now. I work as a graphic designer at a small marketing firm and he's a personal trainer at a local gym. We live in a cozy apartment in the heart of downtown Seattle. Every day, I find myself obsessively checking his social media accounts, particularly his Instagram. I can't help but notice the large number of female followers he has. It feels like every time I look, the number grows higher and higher. Currently, he has around 1,200 followers, while I only have about 150. I know it's not healthy to compare, but I can't seem to stop myself. I start to wonder why these women are so interested in my boyfriend. Are they prettier than me? More interesting? More successful? It's like a constant battle in my head, trying to convince myself that I'm good enough. What really gets to me is when I see him liking and commenting on other women's posts, especially the ones that are a bit more provocative. Just the other day, I noticed he liked a picture of a fitness model wearing a barely there bikini. When I confronted him about it, he brushed it off, saying he was just appreciating her hard work and dedication to her fitness journey. But it's not just the fitness models. It seems like every attractive woman who posts a selfie or a revealing photo gets a like from him. It could be a random acquaintance from high school or a friend of a friend. It doesn't matter. Each time I see his name pop up under someone else's post, I feel a little piece of my heart break. We've had countless arguments about this. I've tried to set boundaries, asking him to unfollow certain accounts or to be more mindful of the things he likes and comments on. And to his credit, he has made some efforts to change. He's unfollowed a bunch of accounts that I felt were inappropriate, and he's tried to be more transparent about his online interactions. But somehow, it never feels like enough. Every time I think we're making progress, I'll discover something new that sets me back. Like the time I found out he had a secret Twitter account where he was following a bunch of models and actresses. Or when I saw that he had liked an old high school girlfriend's bikini pic from 3 years ago. It's exhausting, constantly feeling like I have to monitor his behavior and police his every move. I don't want to be that kind of girlfriend. I don't want to be the one who's always nagging and complaining and making him feel like he can't be himself. But at the same time, I can't ignore the way his actions make me feel. I can't pretend like it doesn't hurt when I see him giving attention to other women, even if it's just through a screen. It makes me question my own worth and desirability. It makes me wonder if I'll ever be enough for him. I've tried to talk to my friends about it, but most of them just tell me to relax and not worry so much. They say that all guys look at other women and that it doesn't mean anything. But that doesn't make it any easier to deal with. It doesn't erase the insecurity and self-doubt that plagues me every time I open up Instagram. I've even considered deleting my own social media accounts just to get away from the constant reminders of my inadequacy. I used to have a pretty big following on Instagram, around 5,000 followers. But I found myself getting too caught up in the likes and comments and comparisons. So I deleted that account and started fresh with a private one, just for close friends and family. But even that hasn't been enough to escape the impact of social media on my relationship. It's like no matter what I do, I can't shake the feeling that I'm not good enough, that I'm always one wrong move away from losing my boyfriend to someone else. I know deep down that this isn't healthy. I know that I need to find a way to build up my own self-esteem and confidence, separate from my relationship and separate from social media. But it's easier said than done. I've started seeing a therapist to work through some of these issues. We've been talking about ways to reframe my thinking and to focus on the things that truly matter in my life. She's encouraged me to spend more time on my hobbies and passions, to nurture my friendships, and to practice self-care. I'm trying to take her advice to heart. I've started painting again, something I used to love but had let fall by the wayside. I've been making an effort to plan more outings with my girlfriends, to have fun and let loose without worrying about what my boyfriend is doing online. And when I do start to feel those old insecurities creeping in, I try to take a step back and remind myself of my own worth. I make a list of my accomplishments, my strengths, the things I love about myself. I look at myself in the mirror and say positive affirmations, even if they feel silly at first. It's a process, and I know it's not going to happen overnight. But I'm determined to keep working at it, to keep fighting for my own happiness and peace of mind. As for my relationship, I know that we still have a lot of work to do. I need to learn to communicate my feelings and needs in a healthy way, without accusation or blame. And he needs to be willing to listen and to make changes where necessary. But I also know that I can't put all the responsibility on him. I can't expect him to fix my insecurities or to make me feel complete. That's something I have to do for myself. So I'm taking things one day at a time. I'm trying to focus on the positive aspects of our relationship, the love and support we share. I'm trying to be more present in the moment, instead of getting lost in the digital world of likes and follows. It's not easy, and I know there will be setbacks and challenges along the way. But I'm committed to making a change, to breaking free from the hold that social media has had on me and my relationship. I want to be able to look at my boyfriend's Instagram and feel nothing but love and trust. I want to be able to post my own photos without worrying about how many likes I get or how I compare to others. I want to be able to live my life fully and authentically, both online and off. And I know that starts with me, with the choices I make and the perspective I choose to have. So I'm choosing to have hope, to believe in myself and in the strength of my relationship. I'm choosing to focus on the good, to cultivate gratitude and joy in the little moments. And most of all, I'm choosing to love myself, flaws and all. Because at the end of the day, that's the foundation upon which everything else is built. That's the key to true happiness and fulfillment, both in my relationship and in my life as a whole. It's a journey, and I know I'm not alone in it. So many people struggle with the impact of social media on their self-esteem and their relationships. But I believe that by being honest and vulnerable, by sharing our stories and supporting each other, we can start to create a new narrative. We can start to build a world where our worth isn't measured by the number of followers we have or the likes we get, but by the depth of our character and the quality of our connections. We can start to create a culture of authenticity and acceptance where we celebrate each other's unique beauty and strengths instead of tearing each other down. It starts with us, with the choices we make every day. It starts with the way we treat ourselves and the way we treat others. It starts with the stories we tell and the values we uphold. And I'm ready to start telling a new story, one of resilience and self-love and true connection. I'm ready to start living my life in a way that feels authentic and meaningful to me, regardless of what anyone else thinks or says. I'm ready to embrace the journey with all its ups and downs, and to trust that I have the strength and the wisdom to navigate it with grace and courage. So here I go, one step at a time, one day at a time, learning, growing, healing, and always choosing love. I thought I was saving her, but she's dragging me down with her. I thought I was doing the right thing by trying to help a girl I cared about who was facing difficult circumstances. But as time went on, I found myself sinking deeper into a mess of lies, inconsistencies, and seemingly insurmountable challenges. Now I'm left wondering if my kindness and empathy have been misplaced, and if I've only made things worse for both of us. When I first met this girl 2 months ago, we hit it off immediately. We had great conversations, shared a similar sense of humor, and seemed to be on the same page about a lot of things. I was excited about the potential of our connection. But as we spent more time together, I started to uncover some troubling details about her life. She had told me she was a student at my university, but it turned out she had dropped out 3 years ago. She claimed to be renting a room from a family she worked for as a caregiver, but the reality was much more complicated and disturbing. About a month into our relationship, she was brutally assaulted by the son of her landlord, who she later admitted was actually an ex-boyfriend. She ended up in the hospital with severe injuries, and I was beside myself with worry and concern. When she was released, she didn't feel safe going back to that living situation, so I offered to let her stay with me while she recovered and figured out her next steps. Over the past 3 weeks, I've done everything I can to support her healing process. I've given her medicine, kept the apartment dark and quiet for her light sensitivity, and tried to anticipate her every need. But as time has gone on, I've started to realize that her challenges run much deeper than I initially understood. She has a serious problem with alcohol, often turning to beer or wine to cope with stress and pain. She's been inconsistent and forgetful about important things like doctor's appointments and legal matters related to the assault. And every time I think we're making progress, some new revelation comes to light that makes me question everything she's told me. I've connected her with nonprofit organizations and try to help her navigate the complex process of recovering her lost documents and seeking justice for the assault. But she seems strangely detached and uncommitted to taking the necessary steps to improve her situation. She often relies on me to make decisions for her and can become easily upset or triggered by small things I say or do. Meanwhile, her ex continues to harass her relentlessly, calling and texting at all hours of the day. She hasn't blocked him, which worries me, and I recently discovered that he had previously propositioned her to do webcam porn together. She claims she never agreed, but at this point, I don't know what to believe. I feel like I'm in way over my head. I want to do the right thing and be there for her, but I'm starting to realize that my kindness and empathy may be enabling her to continue down a destructive path. I'm exhausted from walking on eggshells, never knowing what version of the truth I'm going to get from one day to the next. I know I can't just kick her out and leave her homeless or send her back to her abusive ex, but I also can't keep pouring all my time, energy, and resources into a situation that feels increasingly hopeless and toxic. I'm torn between my desire to help and my own self-preservation. I've made some mistakes along the way, ignoring red flags and getting overly involved in a complicated situation. But I also know that I acted from a place of genuine care and concern. I wanted to be there for her when she had no one else to turn to. Now I'm left grappling with some hard truths and even harder decisions. How do I extricate myself from this tangled web without causing even more harm? How do I set boundaries and prioritize my own well-being while still being a supportive presence in her life? I don't have all the answers, but I know I need to start by being honest with myself about the realities of the situation. I can't single-handedly save or fix her, no matter how much I may want to. Ultimately, she has to want to help herself and be willing to do the hard work of getting her life back on track. All I can do is offer my support within reasonable limits, connect her with resources and people who are better equipped to assist her, and hope that she finds the strength and determination to overcome these challenges. But I also have to be willing to step back and let her face the consequences of her own choices, even if it's painful to watch. This experience has taught me a lot about the complexities of trying to help someone in crisis, especially when that person may not be fully honest or invested in their own recovery. It's a difficult and often thankless road, with no clear roadmap or guarantees. But I'm also learning the importance of having compassion for myself, understanding my own limitations, and reaching out for support and guidance when I need it. I can't pour from an empty cup, and I owe it to myself to create some healthy distance and perspective. In the end, I hope that some good can come from all of this heartache and struggle. Maybe this painful chapter will be the catalyst she needs to finally get her life on a better path. And maybe the lessons I've learned will make me a wiser, stronger, and more discerning person in the long run. But for now, all I can do is take things one day at a time, do my best to make good choices for both of us, and have faith that even the darkest times can lead to new beginnings and unexpected blessings. It's a hard road, but I'm determined to keep walking it with as much grace, courage, and integrity as I can muster.